Hi, welcome to another Latcham Saturdays virtual edition, generously sponsored by the family of Catherine Ann Courtney. Today, we're going to show you how you can make this fabulous hanging sculpture using materials that you can find at home and perhaps some additional ones from the dollar store. As with all of our virtual programs, we try and use materials that you can find at home or suggest alternatives. These are all just suggestions, so modify depending on what you have. So we're using different shapes and lengths of toilet roll and paper towel rolls to create our sculpture. And what I've done is to base coat with just a basic white acrylic paint so that my colors that I'm putting on top stand out. Now, if you don't have paint at home and you don't want to use paint, you don't think your kids want to use paint, no problem at all. You can always just cover the roll with any paper you have. You can use decorative papers, plain papers, whatever you think to cover up the roll and just tape it around onto the roll to create a base. So you don't need to use paint, but if you have paint, you can do this in a multi-step sort of project where you have the kids paint the rolls, let them dry, then move on to the next step. So once your roll is white, if you wanted to do a base coat, then you can go ahead with another type. I've just used basic acrylic paint that you can get at the dollar store. You can, grab a few colors, or you can mix a few to get more colors. Anything you like if you wanted to paint, and just give it you may need to give it a couple of coats. The toilet paper and paper towel rolls take on the paint really well. They don't get too soggy. You don't want to add a lot of water to it, just the paint as it is, but just give it a one full coat, let it dry. Acrylic paint dries really quickly, and then you can always give it a second coat just to make sure that you've got full coverage if you're painting. So this one's green. I've done a bunch in other colors, some hot pink, white, as many colors and as many rolls as you want hanging. So once you've got your rolls covered the way that you want, I didn't do the inside, just the outside. I went ahead and got just a hole punch. You can just use a pair of scissors, anything you have to make a little hole in the roll so that you can put some yarn, string, fishing line through it when you go to hang it, kind of across from each other on the roll. So I do it at this point just so that I can have an idea of where my piece is going to hang from, and then I can decorate the roll sort of below that. It just gives me sort of an idea where the top is. So there you go, you've got the holes punched out. And now the fun begins, the decorating. Obviously entirely up to you. Have fun with it. If you have some time and a little bit of money and you want to go to the dollar store, that's where I bought all of the things to decorate today with. Beads, gems, embroidery floss. You can also make bracelets with those as well. So if you did get a package of those, they can be used for a multitude of things. I really like the look of sort of the thin line they create. So if you're going to use the embroidery floss, what I've done is just make a bead of white glue, just white school glue, on one section, kind of adhered some of that floss to it, and then I go over top as well, just to secure it. Now, this white glue, it dries clear, so you really won't see much of that, but you want to make sure it is secure on there so it's not starting to come apart once you start to hang. So I like to just wrap it around, and it's just creating this clean line, fun line, around my roll. And just give it a few more. And again, I'm using Q-tips. I like those to apply. They do get a little puffy, so I have a few on hand when I want to be a little bit more precise. I use a cleaner one, but it's an easy way to get that glue on there. just the right amount. And yeah, I wasn't stingy with it there. Like, you don't want to overdo it, but it is going to dry clear. So that's the end of my string. And just bring it around, secure it with the glue. And like I said, these are all just suggestions. They're your, it's your sculpture. You decorate it however you like. I like to have the bold contrast. So if I, the white shows up really nicely on the bold pink there. Oh, and I'm just going to set that aside. And I'll work on another one while that glue's drying, and then I can go back and add to it. Okay. So here's one. I've put ribbon down first and then done the string on top. That's another option. And I've found these fun little sort of gems. You can get, at the dollar store, you can get such a variety. Sometimes you can get several in one little packet, which is kind of fun. And using my Q-tip and glue, just white school glue, I'm just gonna stick that down. The thing with this project is, if you're doing the painting, you do have to let it dry. It dries fairly quickly, acrylic, but you just want to get that dry. And then you're gluing, so that's going to have to dry. So it is, it requires a little bit of patience, but I think really worth the effort. And like I said, if you've got kids doing this, you can break this project up into a few sort of stages. In the morning, do the initial painting. Once then you had a break and you go back to some decorating, let that dry fully, and then putting it together, stringing it together could be a third stage for the kids. So what I'm doing is I'm just mixing materials, just having fun with it. These little shapes down, and then maybe put a bead on top. Absolutely whatever you like, and just have fun with it. Okay, once I've done all the rolls I want to do, I want to create something to hang it from. I've chosen a paper plate, a substantial, sort of one of those heavier paper plates, and I'm going to cut a hole out of the plate as well, just so that I can create spots to hang from the inside of the plate and the outside. So I'm just using another bowl, trace it round, and then I'm just going to cut out that circle. I tend to, stab in the middle, then I make some sort of pie shapes, and then I go around and I cut each section off. You could also use a wire coat hanger and just do more of a linear hanging piece, which works also really well. And then you've got the hanger part at the top to hang from wherever you want. This just gives you another option. You can use a smaller one. This one's a sort of a dinner plate. You could use a smaller one, and therefore if you just want to do, say, 3 hanging rolls, it would work well for that. This one's a little bit bigger, so I could accommodate like 5 up to 12 maybe rolls. I tend to like to do though odd numbers for balance. And then I'm just using, again, that same hole punch. If you don't have one, no problem. Use a pencil to go through it. Scissors, obviously, adults want to supervise that. I've got this hole punch, so I'm just going around, and about every 3 inches, I'm just creating a hole. So I have lots of options of where to hang. It's almost like creating a chandelier this way. And so I'm just going through about 3 inches. Not measuring, and then I'm going on the inside of that circle so that I kind of have more options of where to hang, so that they're a little further apart, and can move them across. So I'm just doing the same thing sort of in between those other holes, so I get a variety of spots to hang from. And there we go. Okay, so for the final step, you're going to hang your rolls from this hanging device that we've created, or like I said, it can be absolutely anything. It can be a wire coat hanger. I'm using fishing line because I have that at home. You can also get it at the dollar store. I use it for a lot of hanging projects because it kind of disappears, but you absolutely don't have to. If you've got yarn, if you've got string, anything like that to put through, that works. So I just sort of go through the 2 holes on the roll and then put it through one of the holes on my paper plate here. Decent eyes and a little bit of patience. And what I tend to do with a hanging project, but you can just sort of go for it, is sometimes I just attach, like, put it through and put a loose knot, and then I get them all on there, and then I can arrange them and tie them off the way at the heights that I want after. But absolutely, you can just go ahead and just start to put them on as you like. This one I'm just going to do loose, just a quick sort of knot, nice and high, and just hang it, and then I'll arrange them kind of later together. Okay, then you just continue that until you get all the rules that you want hanging from your sculpture hanger, whatever that may be. Hope you've enjoyed this fun Saturday project, and I would love to see your projects. You can email me, Jen, at programs@latchamartscentre.ca. Until the next time, thank you.